What's up, guys? Today we're going to be replacing the thermostat and water pump on this Jeep JKU with a 3.8 liter engine. So it'll be the years 2007 to 2011. So the first thing we need to do is get the coolant drained out of the system. But before you do that, make sure the vehicle has been sitting a while and the coolant is cold. You do not want the coolant to be hot and the system pressurized when you start to work on this system. There's two ways you can drain the coolant on the system. There is a drain plug on the radiator, but I've had issues with those breaking, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove the lower radiator hose from the engine. Now we need to remove the air intake from the engine. This is an aftermarket air intake, but it's very similar to the factory one, so it's not much of a difference when you're taking it off. With the air intake tube out of the way, we're going to go ahead and loosen up the water pump pulley bolts. We're going to do it this way because leaving the belt on there leaves tension on that pulley, and you'll be able to loosen those bolts up pretty easy. Next, we can go ahead and remove the upper radiator hose from the thermostat housing. Now I'm going to go ahead and unplug the throttle body. Sometimes this plug can be a pain, so I'm going to go ahead and use a two-pick method that I've been doing for a while. I use two 90-degree angle picks, and I can get that unplugged pretty easily. Let's go ahead and remove the belt. Now, before you remove the belt, go ahead and just take a picture of the routing of the belt so when you're putting it back on, you remember how it goes. Next, we have to remove the belt tensioner. It's blocking a couple of the water pump bolts, so you need to remove that so you can get to all the bolts on the water pump. Now we can go ahead and remove the two bolts that are holding down the thermostat housing. You will need either a swivel socket or a swivel on your socket to get to that back bolt on the thermostat housing. If not, you will have to remove the throttle body. We can go ahead and get the water pump unbolted, and then we can go ahead and remove the water pump. All right, before we get too far in this video, I do want to let you guys know I'm going to link all the parts and any specialty tools that I'm using in this video in the description. They're Amazon links. So if you want to check those out, that's where they'll be. All right, now that we got the thermostat and the water pump out of the vehicle, it's time to go ahead and clean the mating surfaces. I did scrape some of the gasket off here where the water pump would sit, but it needs to be a lot cleaner than this before we move on. So we're going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up. As you can see here, I'm putting paper towels in any of the areas where debris can get inside the engine. You do not want that to happen, so make sure you cover those areas. Also, before you start putting the engine back together, make sure you remove those paper towels. Also, I'm using a metal scraper to scrape the area. Make sure if you're using a metal scraper, be very careful that you don't mar any of the areas. If you're worried about it, use a plastic scraper. I'm also going over the areas with brake clean and a Scotch-Brite pad to make sure it's perfectly clean. Okay, now that we got the mating surfaces clean for the water pump and the thermostat housing, it is time to go ahead and get the water pump ready to go back onto the vehicle. So the water pump comes with like a quart gasket, and it doesn't like to stay in place. So what I'm going to do is take a water pump and thermostat gasket maker. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to dab it in some areas so it holds this gasket. Now that should hold it in place. Now we can get the water pump put into place and get the bolts in it without this gasket falling. So let's go ahead and get this on the vehicle. Also, I like to put thread sealant on the water pump bolts just to make sure I do not have any leaks from the water pump bolts. Now I'm going to go ahead and go around and torque the water pump bolts to 9 foot-pounds. Next, we need to go ahead and torque down the thermostat housing, and I'm going to torque both those bolts to 9 foot-pounds. Next, we can go ahead and put the lower radiator hose back onto the vehicle. Make sure you put the clamp back in the same location. I've had issues where if the clamp wasn't right back how it was, it could start leaking. So just make sure you put the clamp back exactly how it was. Before we bolt up the water pump pulley to the water pump, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of blue Loctite to each of the water pump pulley bolts. Then we can go ahead and get the water pump pulley back onto the water pump. I'm going to snug up the water pump pulley bolts with the electric ratchet. I'll go back and torque them down after I get the belt back on the vehicle. Okay, now we can go ahead and torque the water pump pulley bolt to 21 foot-pounds. As you can see here, I'm putting pressure down on the belt to help hold the pulley so it's not spinning. Let's go ahead and get the throttle body plugged back in. Next, we can go ahead and reattach the upper radiator hose to the thermostat housing. We are on the home stretch now. We need to reinstall the intake tube, and then we need to get coolant in the vehicle. Now it's time to go ahead and put coolant in your vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and use a new spool funnel. So I just have to find the right adapter for the radiator. This funnel works really well to help you get air out of the system. right there. Now it's time to go ahead and put coolant in the funnel. I'm using concentrated coolant, so I need to do a 50-50 mix of the concentrated coolant with distilled water. Make sure you're using distilled water. So I'm going to go ahead and mix the coolant and the water. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on the funnel. Now I'm going to go ahead and let the funnel get down to about quarter full, and then I'll keep topping it off. I do not want the coolant to be over quarter of the funnel filled at all times. You'll see here a little bit later towards the end of this video why. First, you fill the coolant when the vehicle is not running, and once you get no more air bubbles when it's not running, you need to go ahead and start up the vehicle. Now, after the vehicle is running, what I'm trying to do here is get the vehicle up to operating temperature and have no more bubbles. So I'll blip the throttle a couple times, and then I'll run it at about 2,000 RPMs for a couple seconds, and then let it come back down. So I'm just trying to work all the air bubbles out of the coolant system. Now, when you're topping off the coolant, like I said, don't let it get over quarter filled in the funnel. Here you'll start to see the coolant start to rise in the funnel. I end up getting a pretty good air pocket in it, and the vehicle's getting up to operating temperature. So when it starts rising like that, I shut the vehicle off and let it go back down. Then once you have no more air pockets in the system, you're good to put the radiator cap back on the vehicle, take it out for a test drive, and make sure you have no more air pockets in the system. I like to drive the vehicle with the heat on, drive it for at least 10-20 miles, and make sure you have consistent heat. That'll make sure you don't have any air pockets. And that's all for the video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Hopefully this helped. Have a good one.